Herber against Lenscold for the opening face-off here at Delaware Stadium. And the Hofstra Pride, wearing the gold uniforms with the white helmets this afternoon, control the opening possession.
Oh yeah,
Brendan, it'll be interesting to see how the face-offs play, what kind of role they play in this game today. Neither team has a definitive advantage there, and both kind of feel like that might be an area they need to focus on. So it'll be curious. It could be a 50-50 battle, and they might have to let their stars shine offensively and defensively.
Move from up top, shot on the pipe, bursted out, and a loose ball is grabbed by the closed defender, Zach Strasner, but turned over by Delaware. And Hofstra can reset a fresh 80 on the shot clock.
Nice job by Ilardi getting to the inside and ringing that one right off the crossbar. Thought he did a good job of just driving hard, getting underneath his man, and once he felt his shoulder dip under, really taking that extra step to get in front of the goal.
Joey Ilardi, a sophomore. His family has 10 Hofstra alums. He's played in 6 games this season for the Pride.
Probably been both Dutchman and Pride.
Tierney collapses with one of his teammates. That was Riley Forte, the redshirt sophomore from Dix Hills, New York. And off the turnover, Delaware clears. Blue Hens up at 87% in clear percentage this season. Scrum for the ground ball and a turnover forced by Hofstra.
That's a tough one. They failed on that clear and then had a chance to get the ground ball and weren't able to capitalize that one. Those are frustrating ones for a coach. You feel upset that you missed the clear, and then you get a second chance, and you got to be able to get that second chance ground ball.
Talking with Ben DeLuca, the head coach of the Delaware Blue Hens earlier this week, he looks at Hofstra and says they are a profile of the CAA. And offensively, they have to hone in on Ryan Tierney. And when you talk to Seth Tierney, head coach of Hofstra in the week, we have our work cut out for us, and we have to be as loose but as focused as possible, which is the delicate balance needed in conference play.
Both teams talked about decision making. Right now,
Brad, I really can't hear Mitch in my headset.
Get ready down there by that cone. Go by that cone now. Need one? Get off! Go ahead. You need one?
Hofstra can reset. This offense starting to pick up steam after 10 goals against UMass. 3 straight games of 10 goals or less, 7 against Rutgers, and then just 9 against Towson. Wrapping around, Tierney goes down to the ground. And that's actually Giannis who wrapped there. There was a hit, but remains 5-on-5.
Jimmy's coming. Jimmy, go behind. Is he hurt? Jimmy hurt? Jimmy, get out! Hey, speed low! Speed low! This side, Jim! Speed low! Speed low, Ryan!
Tierney getting harassed here by Austin Haynes. A flag comes in just in front of the cage. And on the turnover, Haynes was ready to take off.
That's going to be a hold on Haynes. He did a nice job of getting his stick up under Tierney's gloves, but then anytime you stop your feet and use your stick, you'll see here he gets in front, gets a nice check, and then he stops his feet and uses his stick, almost called the buggy whip, where he pulls the player back with that stick. That's always going to be a hold there. You just got to keep your feet moving. He did a great job getting his stick in there. Now he's got to keep his feet moving and get back in position.
Hofstra working it. Shot clock was reset after that flag. Nice save by DeLuca in front. That quick release by Brian Tolmie of Hofstra. And the lefty could not finish. Scrum at midfield.
And Delaware has not been able to control the ball over the midfield line. That's the 3rd failed clear in a row that they've had here. They just need to settle down and run the ball over the midfield line. Right now they've tried to take these high-risk passes that have not panned out.
A team that's cleared the ball awfully well this season, close to 87%. Hofstra's dominated possession in these opening 4 minutes. Still no score. The Pride at 1-1 in conference. Delaware 2-0. You play 5 conference games. Every game is a swing game, but big spot for Delaware at 9-2 overall. The best start in program history since 2006. That ball was backed up by Jimmy Yanis from Mission Vejos, California, the senior. Just 13 points on the year. He totaled 35 points last year in his junior campaign.
Mission Viejo, one of those Orange County, Southern Orange County teams. You see the talent coming out of California now. It's cool to see on the East Coast.
Giannis gets barreled in front. Owen Grant, who was excellent last week against Drexel, he caused 2 turnovers, 81 in the white.
Brennan, I'm shocked that was not a push. That seemed like that was a great individual effort, but then defensively they collapsed on him, but it seemed like he got shoved in the back there. I'm sure Coach Tierney's going to let the refs know about that. I see you see his arms out on the sideline. He's asking the ref, how was that not a push?
Senior from Syracuse, Alex Bruner with the clear. In front of score, Ty Kurtz. Gold jerseys all over the place. A flag comes in following the finish by the freshman from Ontario, Ty Kurtz.
And if there's anyone you want catching a ball at the top of the crease, it's a Canadian. Does a nice job keeping his stick low and then gets crunched between 2 players. Looks like a stick came up and high. He went down hard. Just a hard shot between 2 players, but great job of keeping his hands low and just turning around and getting that ball out as quick as possible. The goalie wasn't able to read it, and he slipped it right between his legs.
The 6-foot freshman, 6th in the CAA in goals, coming into action this afternoon, 4th in scoring, up to 27 goals on the year. And Ty Kurtz really put himself on the scene 2 weeks ago with a career day at Fairfield. He scored 10 points, 7 goals, 3 assists. That set a CAA rookie record. And record overall by a player in the conference with the 10 points. The last Delaware player to put up those kind of numbers, Curtis Dixon.
AKA Superman, doing big things still in the professional leagues.
Hey, if they're shutting you, be the pick on the wing for me.
So Delaware strikes first at home. The last time the Blue Hens were back at Delaware Stadium, March 9th against Binghamton. They went on the road for 4 straight, including the first 2 games of conference play. Brian Herber wins another draw. Hofstra trying to tie this one up.
I need pulls on the field. I need pulls on the field. I need pulls on the field.
Pride last in the conference in goals per game, last in assists. Most penalty minutes in the CAA as well. The goals per game at 8.73.
We're going to come from box. Got it? We'll come from box. We'll come from box. Box.
Want to welcome those in who just saw the finish of UMass and Towson. Big win for the Minutemen on the road to go to 3-0 in the league. Towson drops to 2-1. So a golden opportunity for the Blue Hens of Delaware to keep pace at the top of the conference with UMass. Delaware plays UMass at the end of the season, April 26th in Amherst, Mass. It's one of the last games of the conference year. DeSimone gets drilled. The Delaware sideline erupts. There's the flag. Big round of applause from the fans as well.
Offside on 13. Go. That would be too many now.
Come off so he can go. Come off so he can go. Go down. Ryan, you're hot.
We're coming up on 8 minutes now to go in the opening quarter. Delaware up a goal. Ty Kurtz, the recipient. No room for DeSimone, works it to Isley, coming off a 5-goal game. Turnaround shot by Kitchen, rebounded by the Blue Hens. DeSimone itching at the end line. He may have been pushed down there. Leads to a whistle, and now we get the flag that was thrown from earlier. So Delaware is going to go up a man. Offsides against Ryan Tierney of Hofstra.
And Delaware hasn't had much time of possession. They're up 1-0, but they really haven't had the ball other than just as they were waiting for this penalty. They haven't really had a chance to get any kind of settled offense in. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly they go to the goal here in this man-up opportunity.
Kick out, Dixon, a missile! 25 yards out, and the senior delivers. 2-0 Blue Hens. Dean DeSimone.
And this is such an important part of the game. Even if you don't have a ton of time, if you can capitalize, they had the in-tight goal on transition, they're able to score a man up. If you can capitalize in these short bursts, it doesn't matter if you lose every face-off, as long as you play stout defense, you can have these short times of possessions. But as the game grinds on and wears down, those things are going to start being slower paced and more tiring. So they need to make sure they can rack up as many goals as they can in these quick bursts. So that way, as the game wears on, they're able to maintain that lead.
More than midway through the opening quarter, Delaware with goals from freshman Ty Kurtz and senior midfielder Dean DeSimone from West Deptford, New Jersey. Came into this one 5th in the conference in shots, sitting behind Charlie Kitchen, also Hofstra's Ryan Tierney. That little shovel attempt by Ilardi broken up by the Delaware defense.
Nice trail check there. I've been impressed by Ilardi's ability to get to the middle, and that's going to be a key if they want to open up things on the inside.
Another shot fired wide. Dylan McIntosh, number 21 in the gold and blue, playing in his 6th game back from injury. Hofstra on the board. A much-needed tally to get within 1.
Giannis, that's a guy that Coach Tierney has been saying he needs him to step up. He's starting to get into that flow. He's had to bounce back and forth between the attack and the midfield. You can see the comfort level he has at attack. He gets underneath his defenseman, dives across the crease away from the goal mouth, does a nice job, and buries it down low.
You asked Coach Tierney, you know, as far as offensively, if there's a guy or two that you're looking to step up, and I think the common theme for Hofstra, it has been the senior Jimmy Giannis coming in again, just 13 points. You look at his career numbers, 73 points in a Pride uniform, 50 goals. He had 35 points last year, 24 of them goals. Had a score in that UMass game. They want to see him pick it up here down the stretch.
Absolutely, and Coach mentioned to us he's had to do a lot of different things based on injuries, based on some weird situations. He's had to bump between the midfield and attack, and he's clearly more comfortable in that attack position. As we can see from that last goal, he did a nice job of squaring his defender up, finding that underneath lane, and then made the most of it once he was able to get that angle.
And to your point about injuries, DeLuca with his 4th save, nice stop, and now Delaware wants to push it. Jason Sider, a freshman, 23 in the white. Isley had it broken up. Nicely done by Michael Altman, the junior for Hofstra. But the midfield change they've made today, Riley Forte makes his 2nd career start. Freshman Sterling Ardrey is out due to a shoulder injury.
He's been playing well. He had 7 goals, so he's definitely going to be missed, but we'll see how the next in line can step up. Coach talked about there's 4 to 5 guys that they play at the midfield. They see who's hot, and then they run with those guys. So we'll see who those 4 to 5 are at the start, and then they'll whittle down to the 3 to 4 as they get into the core of the game.
DeLuca near split to make that stop to his right. Austin Haynes scoops up the ground ball. So Towson made a little bit of noise in that game against UMass earlier today. That one down at Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, Maryland. But if you're joining us now after that one, a 14-10 win for UMass on the road. So the Minutemen are 3-0. Towson is 2-1. And the good news for Hofstra, should they come out with a road win today, Hofstra's got a head-to-head win with UMass from last week. So for both teams, there is a lot at stake, Delaware and Hofstra. UMass, pardon, is now 2-1 in the league.
that really opens the door for Delaware here if they can get this win today, or for Hofstra, like you said, with that head-to-head win, UMass being the favorite. With that loss to Hofstra, really makes the CAA, these next 3 weeks are going to be incredible.
Complicates a lot of things should Hofstra come out with the win. Off-balance shot. That was Bryce Reed, the junior for Delaware. And we get a whistle on the far sideline by the 15. There was a push out. Possession stays with Delaware. Shot clock is under 20. Feet in front, a lot of breathing room, but is saved by Casey.
What a save. That's all you can ask for. In front of the goal, 5 yards out, no one within 5 yards. You gotta bury that. He probably could have stopped, turned, take 3 more steps right towards the goal, but great save there by Bobby Casey.
Joe Isley with some excitement, the captain for Delaware. As you said, Mitch, a lot of breathing room. Bryce Reed down the left alley. Kurtz whips it around to DeSimone.
And this is the first settled 6-on-6 we've really seen from Delaware. They haven't had many opportunities to settle the ball down, get everyone to get a touch. So this will be the first time they actually get a look at their offense.
DeSimone with a nice dodge, keeping Griffin Barnathan, the shorty, off balance for Hofstra. And on the shot, Kitchen backs it up.
There's a little confusion here by the refs.
The official from just up top by midfield outside the box did rule possession stayed with Delaware. Blue Hens give it right back.
And I think Hofstra, what they've done best so far defensively is have their sticks up in lanes. They've knocked down passes. That fast break we saw earlier in the game, they knocked down. That one they knocked out of bounds. So it's kind of like basketball. Now with the shot clock, it's even more important. It's okay if you knock the ball out of bounds as long as you take away a scoring opportunity. And that kills a little bit of clock and gives them a little bit of a tighter squeeze offensively.
Ryan Kennard drops it off to Giannis. Rather, it's Tierney. Matt Elder actually throwing up top to Tierney. Over and back. So a violation now gives possession to the Blue Hens. Kitchen has one-on-one along the goal line. Broken up. Michael Altman's been a stud defensively. The junior from Severna Park, Maryland, making his presence felt early at Delaware Stadium.
Brendan, I'm also a Severna Park native. He went to the rival Chesapeake High School.
That's right.
While I was a Severna Park High School guy, but great to see Anne Arundel County represented here.
Altman, an All-American there, and a public school All-Maryland first team selection as a senior at Chesapeake Senior High School.
Both teams defensively have been really tough up at the midfield line, not giving up a ton. We saw Hofstra initiate from X with some of those midfielders. Elder brought it behind. I'll be curious to see if both teams do a little bit of inverting this game to try to break down those short stick defensemen behind the goal instead of up top.
Altman the pole, makes Kitchen get rid of it, but it's Kurtz on the doorstep. Kitchen can create, never mind finish. Delaware on top, 3-1 at home.
Nice little two-man game there. A little bit of a miscommunication, and we see a short stick behind at X, just like I talked about, trying to get those short sticks away from their comfort zone up top where they have all that room. They know where the slides are coming from. Bring them behind where it's a little less comfortable, make them play a pick, and you see what happens. Perfect results there, and Kurtz is showing that Canadian finish. His Ontario hands inside, making the most of every opportunity once he gets above GLE. He's got his little maple leaf flag there on his helmet.
Yeah, he's from Puslinch, Ontario. Ty Kurtz, 3 straight games with multi-goals. Had the 7 against Fairfield, 2 last week against Drexel, and now 2 in this one. Herber wins the face-off, but Seth Tierney, the head coach, wants to talk it over with the Pride. Down 3-1. We still have just about 90 seconds to go in this opening quarter. So just to get everyone on the same page, UMass won today at Towson, so the Minutemen are now 2-1 on the season after losing to Hofstra last week. Towson drops to 2-1, so you've got two 2-1 teams. Here's a case today where Hofstra comes in at 1-1 in the league, a head-to-head win over UMass, a loss to Towson. So Hofstra's 1-1, and Delaware has a chance to be the only undefeated team in the league if it comes out with the win today.
Yeah, they control their own destiny, especially with the games they have coming up. Still left to play. Towson still play UMass. So they really control. The nice part is if they can win out, there's no one who can say that they're better than them on the CAA. So they have a big challenge ahead of them. And then Hofstra Pride, obviously with Drexel and Fairfield, those are games that those teams have struggled a little bit in the CAA. So it could really go any direction here. That's what's so exciting about these league games being so late. You really never know where that league championship's going to be till the last 2-3 weeks of the season.
When we talked with Seth Tierney on the phone this week, he told us about being loose and being as focused at the same time as possible as we can. And he felt like, and he still feels, the team's identity is starting to develop and starting to come to fruition. At this stage, as we wind down here in the first quarter, how does he settle down his team down 2 goals on the road?
The bottom line is they're getting possessions. They're winning face-offs. And they're playing pretty good defense. They've just had a couple breakdowns, a couple lapses. So it's about shaking those off, making sure they're communicating defensively, because that's the biggest thing. They're playing great one-on-one defense. It's little lapses in communication that have led to wide open players in front or miscues in the 2-man game. So talking a lot on defense, and then offensively, they just need to capitalize at the end of these opportunities. I think they've had a couple good looks, but they haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net like they want to, or they're taking shots that maybe are a little bit ill-advised. But credit to Delaware's defense. They've been doing a nice job of not giving up on any plays, finishing out with trail checks and other opportunities. So both teams are scrapping, which is exactly what both coaches expected to see here, is a scrap. That's the CAA style.
So out of the Hofstra timeout, it is Pride possession. Ryan Kennard, number 20, has the ball right now, making his 10th start in 12 games for Hofstra. Nice dodge to his left on the skip feed to McIntosh. Spinning in traffic, it's plucked out by Delaware, but then it's picked up again. A score! Riley Forte in the perfect place at the perfect time to bury his 8th goal of the season.
And that's one of those plays where I was just about to mention how inside they've been trying to do a little bit too much, but that was just a very lucky bounce. It went off a Delaware player's defenseman's stick right perfectly in Forte's stick, and you can't ask for anything better than that. Catching the ball with room and time. Matt DeLuca did his best there, but that's tough. You're facing down a shot from 7-8 yards with no one on his hands.
Back-to-back games with the goal for Riley Forte and back-to-back starts. Redshirt sophomore missed all of last season, redshirting due to injury. He's had to step up in that midfield slot for Hofstra. Injury today to Sterling Ardrey, injured last game against UMass, a shoulder injury, so he's out today.
And Hofstra has been doing a great job of controlling the faceoff X. They need to make sure they have outlets once they win it. That was a situation where a couple guys, it didn't look like anyone wanted the ball there. They're trying to get it to their offense, so we need to see the attack screen back or the midfielders coming on really working hard to get that ball, because these possessions are going to be so valuable here. They've had a big advantage in time of possession, and now they're finally starting to capitalize on those.
Brian Herber, the sophomore Fogo, 7 for 7 in faceoffs.
If you can be 0 for 7 on the faceoffs and up 3-2 at the end of the quarter, you feel pretty good.
That's something, huh? Herber getting an opportunity this season in place of Kyle Gallagher, who transferred to Penn. Seth Tierney said the first person he called upon Gallagher's announcement was Brian Herber, and he said, "You're up." And he has taken the reins, 53% at the dot this season. We have less than 9 seconds to go. Hofstra backs up the ball. Giannis in front, looking for McIntosh. And that ground ball is how the first quarter comes to an end. Ryan Shaw escaping from traffic. Delaware, as Mitch mentioned, hasn't won many possessions, but on top by a goal, 3-2. We step aside from Delaware Stadium in Newark, Delaware. The Blue Hens on top of the Pride, 3-2. You're watching the CAA Game of the Week on Lac Sports Network. Nice crowd on hand today at Delaware Stadium. Beautiful day for lacrosse, and I'm stealing that from my partner here, Mitch Belisle, because he played, and he can validate whether or not this is good playing weather. It is 74 degrees, clouds in and out. The sun has shined on the currently being renovated, Delaware Stadium, but nice day for a game, and so far competitive game so far. Delaware trying to win some possessions, but on top by a goal.
Yeah, no better day than a mid-70s, a little breeze coming through. Like you said, the cloud cover, so it's not too sunny or too bright, but excellent day here, and you can see the Delaware faithful have come out, and I'm sure some fans coming down from Long Island. Watch a great battle here between two teams that are looking to scrap on every single possession, which is all you can ask for.
Herber wins another face-off for Hofstra, number 1 in the gold. He is now 7 for 7. Why not take it to the house? Save DeLuca. Brian Herber wanted all of that, but reminder, Ben DeLuca has been one of the best goalies in the country. Never mind the conference.
Matt DeLuca, Ben DeLuca, that's got to be, I'm sure how many questions does Coach DeLuca get about, is Matt DeLuca your son? Is that your, on the other side of the ball, Tierney, we do have a father-son combo.
That's right, yep.
Ben and Matt DeLuca unrelated.
You know, based on the year he's having, I'm sure Ben wouldn't mind.
He's adopting him at the end of the season.
I'm sure he would not mind it. And shout out, Ben DeLuca's got the fresh haircut going on today.
Came in ready to go for Military Appreciation Night. Got the high and tight going. Looks great.
Delaware now shooting on the right of Raymond Field. Isley circles it back. DeSimone got rid of it. Now it's underneath at X for Charlie Kitchen, who has yet to score a goal but has a couple of assists so far. Two-man game with Kurtz. Altman on Kitchen. Shot clock is down to 12. DeSimone feeding in front. Nicely done by Casey to be aggressive and drag it out. The shot clock does reset, and a score. There is number 1 this afternoon for Charlie Kitchen, up to 29 goals in 2019.
Great skip look there, and I think Hofstra, I couldn't tell if they had actually settled into a zone or they were just playing so tight that it looked like a zone, but great job getting the ball up after that shot and that reset, and then finding that skip lane. Charlie Kitchen, while he didn't have a goal on the day, he had 2 assists, so now 3 points of their 4 goals. Coach Tierney knew that was going to be the case. He is a playmaker. When the ball's in his stick, he's looking to do something, and we've seen that now with a goal and 2 assists already.
Keegan Santos had to make a decision defensively for Hofstra, whether or not to end a potential outside shot or put some extra pressure on Charlie Kitchen. Nicely done by Ryan Shaw, who does take face-offs for Delaware. In there for the sophomore Joe Lenskold. So a win for Delaware at the face-off dot. First one of the day. Shaw took 7 face-offs against Drexel and won 3 of them last Saturday.
And that's a big win, just to have that confidence. They haven't won any face-offs, to go in and get that ball back, especially after that 4th goal. Now they feel like not only are they getting capitalizing at the end of their possessions, but they're also starting to get more of those possessions. So look for Delaware to really keep putting the pressure on and trying out some different combinations at the face-off X.
Blue Hens by 2 early second quarter. Delaware has a chance to control its own destiny and go to 3-0 in the conference. Hofstra can be right in the thick of it with UMass and Towson. Shot coming in, a score, Bryce Reed. Tiptoes in and fires easily. Beats Bobby Casey, it's 5-2 Hens.
And you see, they keep bringing the short sticks behind to X. That's making it challenging up top, because those short sticks, they're used to covering up top. They're used to helping down on the inside and covering those. So great work on those inverts. And Clay Miller there capitalizes, coming through the middle, does a nice job of just cutting off ball, catching it, and keeping slashing or slashing through the middle where he can get that dangerous shot. Really hard for Bobby Casey to read that.
Excuse me, that was Miller, the freshman from Mechanicsburg, PA, with his 8th of the year. Bryce Reed wears number 27. Let's see if Delaware's generated any momentum at the dot. Right on top of the Blue Hens mascot. Herber rips this one away. Nice move through the middle by Corey Kale, the shorty.
And this is that area of decision making now. The look. the look was there, but they probably want to pull that out. They haven't had a possession in a while. Hofstra wants to settle down a little bit and get things going. So if you're Coach Tierney, either next time out or next break, you're going to want to bring the team together and say, hey, let's get the ball on offense. Let's get everyone a touch. Let's get it to our guys, and let's see what we can do. Ryan Tierney hasn't touched the ball in 7 minutes.
No goals today for Tierney, the junior. The son of the head coach, Seth Tierney. Ryan's sister, Erin, a freshman on the Hofstra women's lacrosse team. Joe Isley's been quiet, coming off a 5-goal performance against Drexel. Got a huge shout out from his head coach during this week on conference call. Delaware sticking with it.
Hofstra, again, getting those sticks in those lanes, making up for tough plays, making up for issues, and they're able to knock down a lot of passes and create opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there.
Eric Wentz, substantial pressure on that Delaware offense. 37 in the goal, the junior for the Pride. He did not play in that UMass game, had some hamstring soreness. He's in there today as a starter. 5-2 Delaware, 4 minutes in, second quarter.
And Hofstra, this is the first settled possession they've had in quite some time, so they're going to want to get around, get everyone to get a touch for the ball, and I would look for Ryan Tierney to be the one who shoots this ball.
Ilardi drops it off to Giannis, but it's picked apart from behind. Nice trail check by Hofstra. Owen Grant, 81 in the white. And it's picked up once again by Delaware. Jackson Finnegan, the two-way midi.
I mentioned this, the active sticks. Got a fast break here.
Bruner to Isley on the doorstep. Kitchen using his body, throws it from his knees. It's wide, but nice idea.
That might have been
6'4" Kitchen.
That might have been a spass. I think that was a shot pass kind of in between those two, but he had that one hand. He really got a lot of mustard on that. If he put that on goal, that might have had a chance.
Mustard in the kitchen.
So I mentioned Hofstra's sticks, very active defensively. I've been really impressed with Delaware's trail checking. They're not getting beat necessarily, but once the player gets by them by a half step, they're doing a nice job of being patient with those trail checks and either disrupting a pass or sending shots wildly off to the side.
What Ben DeLuca loves about Matt DeLuca in the goal, his communication ability. Bounce shot misses from DeSimone. But that communication starts with Matt DeLuca, then Austin Haynes, the long stick, puts guys in the right position. That's why Zach Strasner, a junior, and Owen Grant, a freshman, have had great seasons on the closed defense for the Blue Hens.
And it's helpful when you have good communicators there, and that comes with experience, and that's one area where Coach Tierney mentioned that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a little bit more cohesion on the defensive unit. You can see it. There's been little breakdowns based primarily on communication thus far in the game.
See away. Danny, you're staring at it.
Isley stopped by Bobby Casey. And one of the things Seth Tierney told us earlier in the week, it's been an adjustment with John Gorman, the new defensive coordinator coming over from Rutgers after 2 years there. Kevin Unterstein went to North Carolina sort of late in the fall, and making that change was a big adjustment for Seth Tierney to have the new defensive coordinator come on in and make some adjustments.
Well, when you look at a guy like Kevin Understein, played at Hofstra, has been so familiar, such an integral part of that program. Wow.
That one might count. Ryan Tierney just tased the top of the net. And it may have hit underneath the crossbar over the goal line. That's a goal for Ryan Tierney.
What a shot. Just a quick split down the alley, and how that found the back of the net, I have no idea, but the way it came out, you could tell that. Switched it over to left hand, almost no angle there, just slips it past DeLuca there, short side, and kind of hugs all the way along the inside in the top shelf and then bounces out. Great shot there, almost with no angle.
He's made a ton of individual plays this season to keep Hofstra in games. Coming in, Tierney had 32 of the team's 96 goals. That's exactly 1/3 of the team's scoring production.
Yeah, he's a guy they're going to rely on, so him having not been on the scoreboard until just now, you can see that gave them a lift. You could hear the energy, feel the energy. again, get that win at the face-off X like they were having earlier in the game, start to get some possessions, you can build off that. Now they need to make sure that they're capitalizing here at the end of every possession, even if it's not a goal, getting good quality looks that make Matt DeLuca feel a little less confident each time.
First score for the Pride in the second quarter. That halts a 2-0 run by Delaware. Some patience here from Giannis.
Brian.
Dodging right alley, Giannis, a lot of room, and he scores. Waved off, crease violation. No argument from the Hofstra sideline. That was a lapse of judgment there by the Delaware defense. And Giannis stepped on the crease.
Yeah, tried to force him underneath, didn't realize how close to the goal he was. He was able to just take a straight sprint, and he must have just tiptoed on that line before diving, because it looked like he was diving across the goal face, which is allowed.
DeSimone recovers his pass, and some help from Isley, and now Ben DeLuca is going to take his first time out. Here's a look, and clearly
good call by the referee.
Right foot is over the crease line. So Ben DeLuca wants to stop play, 5-3. Blue Hens in front. There's Seth Tierney, the Hofstra head coach. As we're more than midway through the second quarter. Beautiful day here at Delaware Stadium. A lot of cloud cover now to sort of alleviate the heat that has covered Raymond Field today. What's the discussion, Mitch, between Ben DeLuca and his crew? It feels like Hofstra's defense is starting to pick up some pressure here and find some angles defensively on this Hofstra offense.
Yeah, Coach Luke is saying, hey, offensively, let's make the smart play. It's working, right? We're able to capitalize when we're getting the looks, when we're finding the easy passes and the skip passes. Let's make sure that we're not trying to force things inside. Let's make sure we're not trying to make the home run play every time, because the little chip away plays, the finding the little gaps in the seams, that's what has been working. Defensively, I think they're doing a nice job. They just need to make sure to stay vigilant, like you said. It wasn't so much falling asleep, but Haynes had his back turned as Giannis ran right off his back and dove across the crease. So making sure that everyone's aware, knows exactly what's going on there is what he's trying to get everyone on the same page. We're up 5-3. Let's not let our guard down. Let's go out and win this next 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Delaware at 9-2 overall, the best start or 11-game sample since 2006 for the Blue Hens. That year they won the national championship. And Delaware in search of its first CAA title since 2011. 2-0 start in the league. Hofstra, a couple years ago, a #1 team in the country at one point. Heartbreak to UMass in the CAA tournament. Last year, just a 6-8 record at 4-7 this year. But a lot of bumps and bruises, as every team goes through. But Seth Tierney feels his team is starting to find its identity. Down 2 goals on the road to Delaware. Blue Hens ball. Isley skips a pass in deep. Off the back of his stick. It trickles out of play and picked up by Hofstra.
I'm sure Coach Kowski's saying, man, we just talked about making the smart play. Now, I think he was open. You just got to catch that ball. That was a good look inside. But again, you want to make the defense work. Don't just give them turnovers by throwing the ball and bounce it out of bounds. So make that defense work. Make them have to slide and recover. And that was a situation where they didn't make the defense do anything.
Delaware now has 8 turnovers. Hofstra has 11. Hofstra only gives up the ball 16 times a game. That's second best in the conference at 11 so far already. We still have 6 minutes and change to go in this first half. Austin Haynes hustling for that ground ball. He got there. Maybe a fast break here. Bruner stops on the brakes and feeds to Isley. Speaking of turnovers, that was a caused one by the Delaware defense. And we have a flag coming in. A ton of flags now, 3 of them sitting out on the carpet.
We got 7 yellow on the field. That's not allowed. I'm sorry, 8 when you include the goalie. That's not allowed in most ways that they play the sport.
Hofstra in the gold uniforms today. Delaware in the home whites with the blue numbers. Isley has yet to score today. 5 goals last week against Drexel.
Let's go, dig in!
DeSimone calls Riley Forte to his left.
And Hofstra has an extra defenseman. They're offsides with too many men, so they have an extra guy. So if they get scored on here, you're going to be real frustrated if you're Coach Tierney. So you almost want to just either double the ball right away or sit someone in the middle and have them be that designated slide man with no pressure.
Bryce Reed scampering in, got the pass, and realized he had no shot, so he dropped it off to Kitchen. Ill-advised pass. It is against Hofstra, those flags that came flying in. Griffin Barnathan, the short stick defensive midfielder who is a senior, serves this penalty, so it's a man up for Delaware.
Both teams this last back and forth have had key opportunities right in front where they just haven't been able to handle it. Ilardi did a nice job of dodging down the alley, drawing the slide, found Riley Forte wide open in the middle, and Riley couldn't handle it. They did a nice job on the other end. Delaware finding an open man, they couldn't handle inside. So
there is DeSimone with another downtown bullet. Second today for Dean DeSimone, his second of the year on the man up. And Delaware now is doubling Hofstra 6-3.
And who'd that come from? Charlie Kitchen. Charlie Kitchen has been dishing them out from the kitchen here, his third assist of the game. Same exact look as the very first goal of the game, or I'm sorry, the second goal of the game. When you give that over-the-top pass, you've got to make sure that you either get a piece of it with your stick, which Hofstra's been doing a great job of up until this point, or you get out in his gloves and make him a shooter. But with that kind of range, that puts a lot of pressure on those defensemen to move a lot back and forth.
Well, as a defenseman, because you played the position indoor and outdoor, how do you make that decision in your head to pick one or the other?
Well, and a lot of that comes down to the crease play, right? So they did a nice job of Kurtz of crashing the crease, forcing one of those defensemen to chase him down, but you got to make sure that you have that support of your teammates. So the decision really comes to who's the most dangerous player, the guy in the crease, typically yes, or DeSimone. Now, the other piece to it is coming out to his stick head and trying to at least get a piece of that. So look for them to maybe start putting a little bit more pressure up top when DeSimone is up there.
Delaware has scored 3 of 4 goals in this second quarter, under 5 minutes to go in this frame. Dean DeSimone with his second. Ty Kurtz has 2 in this one as well for the Blue Hens.
And really the only offensive looks we've seen for Hofstra this half is that Tierney goal, which really was kind of a low angle, high risk, high reward shot that he took and ended up going in. They haven't been able to get into any kind of groove. They've had a couple subtle offensive possessions, but they haven't been able to really force Delaware to slide and recover, which is something that is key if you're going to want to make them more tired and find those gaps.
Jimmy Giannis and Riley Forte, the other goal scorers for Hofstra. DeSimone creating from X. Fires, broken up by Mark Ellis, 34 in gold. He's the grad student, a captain, short stick defensive midfielder who transferred from Stony Brook a couple of years ago.
Nice job putting his body on the line and being in a good position between his man and the goal. He soaked that shot. Taking one for Bobby Casey, saying, I'll get this one before it gets to you.
.60 seconds still remain on the shot clock. As Mitch mentioned, Hofstra hasn't generated many looks on offense. They'll take their time. Elder. Giannis circling around. Nowhere to go. Zach Strasner draped all over him. On the pick, Tierney, flags come in. Tierney the skip, Forte the shot. Blasts it wide.
And Hofstra really hasn't been able to penetrate the middle. They've been doing a lot of these long dodges where it's one guy dodging, and the whole defense can see that. Here we see they do a nice job of trying to set a pick. Giannis sets that pick, and Haynes runs through the pick. It's definitely smart to run through a pick. Now, when you extend your arms, you're almost always going to get called on that. So you can see here he extends his arms after he hits the pick. You got to be a little bit more under control, even if you do run into him. Otherwise, you're going to get called.
Hofstra on the man-up for the second time this afternoon, the 4th best man-up percentage in the CAA, just over 38%. The Pride went 3 for 5 against UMass last week.
Including the game winner.
That's right. McIntosh out there with Ilardi. In front, nice look, score. Ilardi cutting in. You've been impressed with him today, Mitch, circling from that left lane and curled in for a wide open look in front.
Yeah, and he's been the only guy with the ball in his stick who's consistently been able to get to the middle. Here we see him work off ball to get to the middle. A nice little exchange there with Forte drifting off the crease. Gives him that alley to run down. He's looking straight at it, so nice job there. We talked about defensively, you have to be able to cover the inside and the outside. Clear miscommunication up top by the Blue Hens defense opens up that seam for him. Nice job there by Joe Ilardi.
And how about the pick that Ryan Tierney set to give him plenty of space? We've talked a lot about Tierney's ability to put the ball in the back of the net. If Hofstra wants to go places this season, they'll need Tierney to also be a facilitator off the ball to give the offense some variety. Herbert wins the face-off.
Smart call by Coach Tierney. He saw the danger signs all over the field with Herbert driving down with Brian Herbert driving down the middle. Two guys collapse on him, called that timeout, and secures another key possession heading into the last couple minutes of this quarter.
Hofstra's won 11 of 12 face-offs. Still down 2 goals to the Delaware Blue Hens, 6-4. If you missed it earlier today, UMass scored a win on the road at Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, 14-10 the final. UMass is now 2-1 in conference. Towson dropped to 2-1. Hofstra tries to go to 2-1, and of course the Delaware Blue Hens here at home and a 2-goal lead. They'll try to go to first place in the league at 3-0, sitting at 2-0 today.
And how does that stack up with what the experts thought before the season started? UMass was that favorite with the #1 ranking in the preseason poll. Towson 2 and Delaware and Hofstra, so everyone's kind of right about where they thought they would be.
Top 4 at the very least. Hey, don't forget Wednesday nights on Lac Sports Network, it's CAA Press Pass. We will take a look at the latest news and notes from around the conference and prepare you for the biggest games of the week. CAA Press Pass on Lac Sports Network every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. A lot to get to this Wednesday, given the results at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Of course, the reaction to this game, Delaware and Hofstra. You know, coming in, it was a game for Hofstra. They lost this contest to Delaware last year. Blue Hens broke up a 7-game losing streak to this Hofstra program. Delaware getting a win on the road in Hempstead, New York, 10-9.
Yeah, all time it's been heavily Hofstra, but Blue Hens showing right now why they're #1 in the CAA as of a couple hours ago. The only undefeated record.
That's right. Ben DeLuca has changed the culture in the last 2 years, trying to get this program back to where it once was. 9-2 overall, the best 11-game stretch since 2006. Delaware out there on defense. Hofstra trying to whittle the deficit to 1, but DeLuca makes another save that is number 8 of the game. Giannis quickly resets. Up to Kennard. Picked out by Strasner.
And that was a little bit of I did not see a push there, a little bit of a scramble situation, but Hofstra's lucky to keep that one and get another look. Now it finally feels like they're starting to get into a groove. Wow, but so is Matt DeLuca.
9 saves in the first half. He is only a junior. That's a message to the rest of the conference. From Farmingdale, New York, another scrum. Isley leaping for it in front of Forte. It is Delaware possession.
And that was the best offense we've seen Hofstra play. They finally started working together, moving off ball. You saw a lot of great looks. That was the first time I think we've called Dylan McIntosh's name inside. They need to get him the ball, but it starts with either drawing a slide or it starts with creating movement on that Delaware defense. So that was the first possession that they were able to do that. It was because they got the ball to everyone, they spread out that defense, and they dodged hard. So second half, I expect Coach Tierney is going to demand that from their offense, and if they can do that, they'll get some more looks.
Feels like Jimmy Giannis, who directs the traffic, he's the quarterback of the Hofstra offense, is having a hard time because I'll tell you, Delaware's got a lot of size defensively. Strasner is 6'2", Owen Grant 6'3", Austin Haynes has been draped all over these guys. So Giannis, who gets it all started, has had a difficult time weaving through. But that speaks to the point Seth Tierney made on the phone with us this week. He's doing so many different things, changing up positions, and his role. 20 on the shot clock here for Delaware. 10-second differential with the game clock. In front, that's Bryce Reed, saved by Casey.
Big save by Bobby Casey, dropping down and protecting that 5-hole. That's one of those looks where you want to change planes as you're coming around, but at the same time, they've scored on that 5-hole wraparound 2 or 3 times already this game. So not a bad look, but Bobby Casey doing a nice job of covering that up.
Dominic Pryor shooting on the run, the short stick. Falls into the end zone. It's cleared by Hofstra in front. A flag for the final shot of the quarter. Still time on the clock.
We had the midfield ref was pointing as if to say timeout. There was 4 seconds left. I don't think the refs were on the same page when they blew this in, and then we had a flag towards the end. So I'll be curious what they call here. I think Coach DeLuca, it looked like they were pointing as if Coach DeLuca had called a timeout. Maybe they were going to check the clock for time, but a little bit of confusion. The refs are going to figure it out. We see the clock has been reset to 4.1. That's how much time there was when the ball was on the end line when Giannis picked it up.
Possession indeed stays with Hofstra. Ben DeLuca out to talk to crew.
So it was
unnecessary roughness. 1 minute, 34, unnecessary roughness.
So a penalty against Ryan Shaw of Hofstra for unnecessary roughness. A 1-minute penalty that will bleed into the second half. Ben DeLuca looking for an explanation. Coach also got a timeout, it looks like.
And that's what I thought the ref was indicating at the beginning of the play. So that's a tough draw for Coach DeLuca there. I mean, smart to, it's not like you're going to need another timeout. He has one. But at the same time, they still let the play get off, and then you lose a player for a minute. So tough draw for Coach DeLuca. He got the timeout, but unfortunately he loses a player in the process. So that's one of those where you shake your head. You're like, man, I wish they had just called that timeout the right way the first time, and I wouldn't have lost a guy.
So 4.1 seconds remain. Hofstra possession on the left of Raymond Field inside Delaware Stadium. Renovations still taking place here in Newark. I heard the number $60 million getting tossed around down on the field today to get this stadium renovated. And of course, there's a ton of history here. Lacrosse, football, there's a lot going on here at Delaware Stadium. Some great names have come in and out of this stadium. Lacrosse, football, of course. A lot to look forward to if you're a student athlete or even just a fan of Delaware athletics.
You bring up the 2006 Delaware team we've brought up a couple times. They had guys like Dan Deckelbaum, Jordan Hall, guys have gone on to continue playing and done such good things. Those were some strong teams. 2007, my senior year, we saw the Delaware Blue Hens against Johns Hopkins in the Final Four. We played Duke, they played Hopkins. So definitely a rich history of tradition here with the Blue Hens program. And you mentioned Coach DeLuca changing that culture. He's a guy that I pretty much learned all my defense from. He was the defensive coordinator during my time at Cornell, but great to see him really embracing it. And as you mentioned, with the giants and athletes they have on defense, they've got a lot to build and a lot to work with.
Ben DeLuca, 18 years with the Big Red, a couple of years with Harvard before taking the head coaching job with Delaware, and his Blue Hens up 6-4 at halftime, in position to go to 3-0 and first place in the CAA. We'll see what type of adjustments Hofstra and Delaware make at halftime. 18 shots in the first half for Hofstra, 13 on the goal, 5 saves for Bobby Casey.
Hofstra man up, so they'll start with the ball, no face-off, and immediately they throw the ball away. Lucky to get that one back as it goes off Blue Hen's stick and out of bounds. And they're face guarding Ryan Tierney in this set, so making sure that he's not the guy that beats him, making everyone else do the work.
DeLuca slides over, properly reads it, and gives his defense a round of applause. Still 52 seconds on the shot clock.
And by locking off Tierney, you see it forces the Delaware players to drop into a box elsewhere. Ryan Tierney trying to set some picks on the inside, but really looked like they didn't have a game plan there. It wasn't like everyone's on the same page. Okay, they locked Ryan, what do we do now? So that's something that you can expect in Coach Tierney next time he gets the defense together. If they lock and man up, this is what we're going to do.
Zach Strasner caused the turnover. Hofstra trying to trickle back defensively as Delaware speeds over the timeline, and now it can reset its offense. Wade Auersler, the two-Wade midi, he's a sophomore from Lutherville, Maryland, clearing the ball successfully for the Blue Hens. And we'd like to welcome in the third member of our crew today, the commissioner of the CAA, Joe D'Antonio. He's got the view right down on the field. Joey D, how are we doing?
Gentlemen, doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You are making quite the trip today, sir. You were at Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson earlier today. What a performance by UMass.
UMass played well. They really put it together today, had a great game. When I left, I think they had an 8 or 9 goal lead. I think they pulled out a 14-10 win. So impressive day, certainly for the Minutemen.
And coach, the CAA known for its hard-nosed brand.
Ty Kurtz has a hat trick now for Delaware, scoring in front. Blue Hens extend their lead. Hey, Commissioner, I think a great way to start is take a look at what Delaware is doing with this stadium. You're looking right across with the renovations being done to Delaware Stadium, a staple in the CAA for several sports. Really cool what they're doing here.
No question, it's going to be very impressive when it's done. You know, under the leadership of Chrissy Raywalk, their athletic director Dennis Hasanas, their president. They're doing a lot of great things here, and when this stadium's finished, it's really going to be spectacular.
And from a lacrosse standpoint, Ben DeLuca in his second year as the head coach, trying to sort of not necessarily start a brand new culture, but live on Bob Schillinglaw's past, but also create something new and get Delaware back to where it once was in the lacrosse scheme. Getting to know Ben DeLuca, one of the newer coaches in the league, what's that been like?
Well, certainly Ben has things going. He's a lacrosse guy. There's no question about that. And you can just tell in a short period of time, he's turned the tide here in terms of their level of success. You know, W here today, they're sitting on top of the conference by themselves.
Matt DeLuca jumps out, settles down his group to clear the ball here. Another stop for Delaware defensively.
And the CAA with such a rich tradition, I mean, for a player who's thinking about coming to a CAA school, why should they do that?
Well, I just think you look around the league, I mean, it's just so competitive. Great coaches, great players, and you can just feel the intensity when you're at these games. It amazed me when I walked in here, leaving the game up at Towson. When you're on the field or you're in the stands, you can just feel the intensity of the league, and it's really something special, something we're very proud of. And any student athlete that gets an opportunity is really going to benefit from that.
Another score for the Blue Hens. Charlie Kitchen in the thick of it, per usual. And Delaware is doubling Hofstra once again, 8-4.
And this has been the recipe for success, Brendan. They've done a nice job of drawing the slide, finding the open man inside, and feeding it inside. It's not a complicated process. They are just doing a great job of keeping their head up. That's what I've by far been most impressed with this offense for Delaware, is every time they dodge, their heads are up, and they've been able to find those open players inside and get those easy dunks. The last two, Kurtz and Kitchen, basically back-to-back for each other. Nice job there in staying active in the crease, but also just keeping their heads up when they're dodging hard.
And this time it was Kitchen playing in front of the goal, not at X. DeSimone has that ability to interchange his positions, and that's what's made Delaware potent offensively the last couple of weeks. When you look at the last 3 games, at Drexel, at Fairfield, at Michigan, at least 15 goals scored in each of those games. He gives so much credit to the defense, and shout to Matt DeLuca. He's now got 10 saves in every game this year for Delaware, but offensively, this team is starting to pick it up.
And Coach DeLuca talked about the number being 10, right? They want to be over 10 offensively and under 10 defensively, and so they're starting to creep towards that number offensively, and a 4 looks pretty good. They're going to want to keep that number on the scoreboard as long as possible.
That's been the recipe most of the year. Giannis drops it off. This is Elder, the freshman from North Carolina. A couple of North Carolina prospects on this Hofstra team. Doing a nice job recruiting down there. Elder spinning around. His bounce shot is picked up by Giannis.
We talked about Mission Viejo, California. We talked about some players from Colorado. So we got a little bit of everything here. And it's great to see that across all different conferences. You're seeing players from all over the country come together. And if you're a great lacrosse player, you're going to be found.
DeLuca, the moment he makes the save, he is directing where his defensive players need to go. Awfully impressive to see his growth from sophomore to junior year.
And that's the big difference, is that experience level between him and Bobby Casey. Bobby Casey is playing great lacrosse, but he's still just coming into that role. We talked to Coach Tierney. He was actually named, Bobby Casey was named a captain by his teammates, which is incredibly impressive for a sophomore. First of all, for a sophomore, second of all, for the team to name him. But he will take that mantle from Jack Concannon. It's just taken some time.
He's Mitch Belisle. I'm Brendan Glasheen. We also have the CAA Commissioner, Joe D'Antonio, joining us. 8-4 Delaware. Blue Hens have a chance to take over first place in the conference with a win at home this afternoon. Hey, Joey D, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're making plans to go to the Fairfield-Drexel game after this one?
That is correct. I'm probably going to head out just a tiny bit early before this one concludes, and I'll be hopefully at the second half of the Fairfield-Drexel game, and I would have seen every team in the conference in one day.
Has the conference got you a private jet yet? Is that in the budget?
It's just outside of the budget. We've talked about it's just outside of the budget. Maybe a helicopter.
That might cut into the Delaware renovations, unfortunately.
Let's see if Ty Kurtz can keep it going in front to Kitchen. There was a trail check on the doorstep. Clean play. Casey looks to clear.
Charlie Kitchen lost a glove. He doesn't know where it is. Oh, he found it. It was almost halfway back to midfield there.
You know, Commissioner, when you make these trips, and we're talking men's lacrosse, of course, because this is what the day's been about for us here at LSN, what's the camaraderie like and the level of play? Because you've had a chance now to really soak this in the last couple of years. The level of play seems to really be evening out across the 6 teams.
No question. The level of play certainly has elevated itself and evened out. And I think there's an awful lot of respect between the coaches and the student athletes of all 6 teams because of that fact. There's a great deal of parity in this league. Any given day, you better be ready to play or they're going to come get you.
And what do you see as changes for the CAA coming down the line? Where do you see the sport going? Is it going to continue growing, or what are some of the things that we can look for from the CAA in lacrosse specifically as we move forward?
Well, I think the big things of what we talked about, we're just continuing to get better and better talent into the league because I think the league is continuing to gain more and more respect nationally. And as that happens, hopefully we're able to up the ante within our conference in terms of respect around the league. Certainly opportunity for 2 bids into the tournament would be something that I think should be a goal, and I don't see any reason why we can't reach that. And then ultimately, you know, there's no reason why, I said this when I first started, there's no reason why in men's and women's lacrosse we can't win a national championship, and you saw it happen on the women's side with JMU, and I feel confident with the way these programs have elevated themselves that we're headed in that direction in the men's sport as well.
Awfully close 2 years ago. Towson, a Final Four team, falling to Ohio State at Gillette Stadium, right on the cusp. Diving shot by Tolmie. Hofstra on the man up for the 4th time, and that's a big stop for DeLuca and company to drain some clock on this man up chance.
And Hofstra, a couple good potent opportunities there. That's the first time they've really challenged this half, and one time Matt DeLuca getting bailed out by the crossbar, another time doing a nice job of hugging his pipe. So they're able to get away unscathed there, but Hofstra, they're going to need to continue winning faceoffs and having those long driving possessions, but ultimately at the end, they're going to have to start scoring.
Dean DeSimone has a couple today on the man up. Can he get the shorty? It bounces in.
Sports Center, top 10 right there. That's beating a double team and wrapping it around your defense, and what an individual effort there by Dean DeSimone. Great job. Nice physical slide there. Defenseman just has to stay on his back there. Number 7, Dominic Pryor, does a good job now. The double comes. He has to stay on that and make sure he can't escape that double team before getting the shot off.
Hat trick for DeSimone, a hat trick for the freshman Ty Kurtz. Commissioner of the CAA, Joe D'Antonio, is with us here in the 3rd quarter. Delaware is starting to take off now, up 9-4. Anything else, Commissioner, that we can look forward to across the conference? What are some of the things going on in the offices and things that you guys are sort of looking forward to here as the spring season winds down?
Well, certainly we're getting ready for our spring championships. I think that's the big thing right now. Obviously, we're a little bit away from the men's and women's lacrosse championships, but we're right in the thick of our tennis championship. Softball's right around the corner. Baseball's right around the corner. Track is right around the corner. So it's a busy time right now, but a fun time. I think any time you can get student athletes into a championship environment, it's very positive, and we take great pride in obviously putting on the best experience that we can for the student athletes as they move into that championship period. So that's really what's happening right now, and we're very excited for that period of time.
Tell you what, you might want to get comfortable right where you're standing, because if Delaware keeps this up, they're going to be in a prime position to host the CAA tournament.
There's no question. I'm gonna have to get that helicopter ready to go back and forth from here to JMU. So we'll put that order in now.
All right. Well, hey, we'll let you go, and hey, enjoy some of this. Enjoy the weather. We have beautiful weather here. The cloud cover is nice to sort of alleviate the heat. But Commissioner of the CAA, Joe D'Antonio, thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me on, guys. We appreciate the partnership with LSN. You guys are doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good stuff from Joey D. 9-4. Delaware has scored all 3 goals of this third quarter. And we are 7 minutes and change in. What adjustments here, Mitch, does Hofstra have to make?
Well, Hofstra's luckily back at the spot where they want to be, which is at the face-off X. That's the one place they've been having a ton of success, but it hasn't turned into success in the offensive end. And ultimately, they got to get these possessions, and they need to get everyone to get a touch. I keep saying it, but the truth is, we see one player that gets the ball, he drives, and then he gets double-teamed or stripped. So they need to hunt the ball down, make sure Ryan Tierney's getting a touch. He's basically been face-guarded by Haynes all game, and Haynes has been doing a phenomenal job there. But they need to work really hard to get the ball. And, you know, Ryan Tierney, he's their clutch go-to guy. He needs to find a way to either get involved, whether that's setting picks or whether that's using picks to get himself open and get the ball on his stick.
For Delaware, Charlie Kitchen, 5 points today, 2 goals, 3 assists. Tough feed in the front that was intended for McIntosh. Not a lot of wiggle room to make that reception on the doorstep. So a turnover for Hofstra. Meanwhile, another standout today, Dean DeSimone. That last goal was scored even strength, so he's up to 3 goals. He also has 2 assists in this one today. So a nice afternoon for DeSimone and Kitchen on the Delaware side.
Yeah, the names that we thought we'd be saying, we're saying a lot on the Delaware side. Matt DeLuca starts on the back end. Everyone doing a good job in front of him. Austin Haynes really locking down Ryan Tierney. And then on Hofstra's side, they've gotten a little bit from everyone, but not enough right now to keep them in this game yet.
12 saves for Matt DeLuca. Again, if you missed it, he's got double-digit saves in every game this year for Delaware. DeLuca up over 450 saves for the season. Blue Hens on offense. Here's Kyle Kavinsky. He gives it off now to Finnegan. Nice dish. Kurtz diving save. Bobby Casey.
And that's something you're not going to see. Kurtz in front of the goal, wide open, not scoring. It was a little bit of a forward pass where he's kind of falling as he shot. That wasn't able to change planes. I think if that's right on the money, he might be looking at another goal. But good job, nice save by Bobby Casey, and now Hofstra is going to go to work. This is where Ryan Tierney needs to start working to get the ball. They got to get the ball into his stick.
3-0 run for Delaware in the quarter. 9 minutes into this quarter. Giannis has a goal today, out to Ilardi. He also has scored. Tierney sets the pick. He's being defended by Austin Haynes, the long pole, preseason all CAA.
And there you see him explode away from Haynes there, trying to get the ball. He was just biding his time, and now he'll go to work.
Double team comes. Tried to feed it to McIntosh over the top. A defender was there, and it might have been a hold or a push of some sort to now still keep the ball with Hofstra. Fresh 80-second shot clock.
And this is the challenge for Hofstra and Ryan Tierney. He's locked off. He's not really part of this offense. He pops out. He gets the ball, drives. He's got to do that again. He's got to keep doing that, and that gets really tiring. So can the other players step up and make sure that they're making plays so he doesn't have to feel like he's doing all the work?
Elder, a tough shot, falling down to his knees. The freshman from Mooresville, North Carolina. From Lake Norman High School in Mooresville, the all-time leading scorer in program history. Throws that one behind cage, so possession to Delaware. It clears the midfield line. Bryce Reed with possession.
Lake Norman, you ever been there? Just north of Charlotte. Beautiful.
I have not.
Beautiful
Been
part
to
of the
Charlotte.
country.
Hey, be simple on those sides.
Mentioned it earlier, Hofstra's got some studs from North Carolina on the roster. Keegan Santos from Wilmington, North Carolina. Mentioned Elder as well.
Hard Dean, go.
Blue Hens trying to extend the run to 4-0 as Isley swings it to Clay Miller.
Play off D-Mac, right side.
And this is where Hofstra can take long possessions now, really let the shot clock run down, make sure with a 5-goal lead, it's not like a big enough cushion that you can just roll the ball in the corner every time, but you can wait for a really good look. And the way that they've been attacking from X and finding those open seams in front, that's how they're probably going to look to end most of these possessions.
DeSimone draws a double. Trail check by Hofstra. That's been one of their strengths today defensively. And there is the long stick midi, senior Brian Philbin. The Pride trying to generate something in transition. McIntosh had it broken up. Pride have to settle.
Great job by freshman Kevin McCormick there, getting his stick out in his gloves and making that tough for McIntosh to handle that ball.
He's from Farmingdale, New York, just like his goalie, Matt DeLuca. 3:30 left in the third.
Right side! Right side!
Delaware wins today. The Blue Hens go to 3-0, first place in the CAA. If Hofstra wins, we have a 4-way tie, 2-1 teams in the CAA. Would be something. Off balance shot. It's wide from Kennard, backed up by Giannis.
Let's go.
Strasner on him. Giannis coming in, saved by DeLuca, standing on his head in this second half.
And that's the first time we've seen Giannis since the first quarter really work his man and go hard to the cage. I want to see more of that. It works. DeLuca bailed him out there with a huge save, but give that to Giannis. Let him go to work. We haven't seen that, and they're not giving him the space to operate.
There is a flag down after Delaware cleared the ball. Kitchen spins on his pivot foot, and he scores! He loves the post-goal celebrations. Charlie Kitchen has 6 points, 3 assists, and another hat trick.
That little no-look kind of over-the-head shot, that's been something that's been a trademark of really the CAA the last couple games. We've seen that defenseman or attackman drive and then get their shoulders out and away and snap that right over the defenseman's head. As a defender, it's really hard to defend someone because it seems like they're running away from the goal, but they do a nice job of pushing off, like you said, that back foot, whipping that momentum and then keeping that high to high. It's key for goalies there to stay high and try to help you out, and then defensively try to get your stick up in that lane so he can't shoot it right over the top of your head.
With 3 goals in this one, Kitchen now has 31 for the season. Ryan Tierney only has 1 for Hofstra. So Kitchen is just 2 goals back of Tierney for one of the tops in the league. Ty Kurtz is leveled at midfield. Many flags come in. Ryan Tierney was right in the thick of it.
And we're seeing things get a little physical. I think that was a case of a high hit that he didn't mean to come up on him. He just came up high. It looks like that's going to be Ryan Tierney going to the box. That may be a 2-minute non-releasable there. He got him high for sure with his stick.
It's Jason Sider who went down, 23 in the white, who was being looked at by the training staff. The officials send the message to both sidelines and cheers on the Delaware sideline.
It looks like they only locked him in for a minute, but he is not allowed out. So look for Delaware to look for that skip pass back up to DeSimone. That's worked 2 out of 3 times that they've had man-up opportunities. And then if you're Hofstra, maybe you look at either shutting DeSimone or trying a different set where you can get a pull out to him before he's able to rip off that 18-yard shot.
This is a key man-down stop for Hofstra. It's 4-0 Delaware in the second half, up by 6 goals, 2:20 left in this quarter. Kitchen operates from X. Kurtz is on the left wing. Now it's Isley. That one's wide. He's trying to get involved on the act today. 5 goals last game, still nothing today for the senior and captain.
And he's one of those guys that the Coach Lucas said is such a good leader. He's probably okay with that if he doesn't get points on the board, as long as they're getting that W.
It's on the right wing. Kurtz on the left side, up top to Reed. Now it's DeSimone. Flicks it back, Isley. Shot, save, Casey.
Great save by Bobby Casey. Delaware is doing a nice job of firing the ball through those skip lanes. We talked about earlier how good Hofstra was at putting their sticks in those lanes. Now they're starting to get tired. You see those passes starting to make their way through. This is where, as a defense, you got to cover those skip lanes and make sure that they can only pass to the man next to them.
Delaware 2 for 4 on the man up today. Jackson Finnegan, number 2 to DeSimone. Isley, shot. Casey stops it. Some life for the Pride.
Now, the attack has to hunt the ball down right now. A lot of standing around by the Hofstra attack, waiting for their middies to do the work. They got to go get that ball. That's going to be key if they want to get the ball and get possessions, and those are the guys they want to have the ball in their stick. So why not go get it from them and make it easy?
When's the defender, 37. Some trail checks from Delaware coming on defensively. So it is Hofstra ball. Wentz was tripped up from behind.
Hofstra just got their full strength contingent back out there, so they'll be 6-on-6 here. So now they get the ball to Jimmy Giannis. He's the only one who's demonstrated the ability to break down his man and get to the goal. Let's let him do that a couple times and then see what opens from there. They're shutting Ryan Tierney, maybe get some off-ball action, but throwing the ball away is going to make that a challenge.
4 different goal scorers for Hofstra. Giannis has 1, Tierney with 1, Forte and Ilardi the other 2 goals. Strassner for Delaware helps the Hens clear it. Upfield to Bruner, senior from Syracuse, New York. He played for Rick Beardsley at Christian Brothers Academy. Turnover this time by Delaware, though.
Delaware says any toss away you can do, we can do better, and throws away on the other end.
Hofstra can hold for the final shot of the quarter, 20 seconds. Kennard tiptoes inside the 20. Tolmy with the screen. Kennard shot, DeLuca read it. Rebound, Tolmy, he scores. Maybe this is what Hofstra needs to catapult itself in the 4th quarter. First goal of the frame for the Pride. It is Tolmy on the rebound.
A nice job being in the right place at the right time. That's the 2nd time where they've been the recipient of a great bounce. Good save there. You know, that first look is probably not the look that they want. You feel like Matt DeLuca has a good beat on that the whole time, but then crashing the crease, doing a nice job of picking that up. Good work by Tolmy, burying the biscuit. Whippy guy from Ontario. That's what they're known for, picking up those loose balls and making sure they're deposited right in the back of the net.
Spent some time in Pennsylvania, in Salzburg, at the Kiski School, and then 1 year at the Hunt School in New Jersey. 2 seconds for Hofstra, winning the ball off the wing, and DeLuca was prepared. He played every second of that 3rd quarter just about as best as you can. We're through 3 quarters at Raymond Field inside Delaware Stadium. Blue Hens doubling the Pride 10-5. Start of the 4th quarter in Delaware. Blue Hens on top 10-5. Newark, Delaware the site. Raymond Field inside Delaware Stadium. Brendan Glasheen with former Cornell standout and pro lacrosse player Mitch Belisle. Another win for Hofstra at the faceoff dot. Hofstra is now 18 of 19 in faceoffs, but down 5 entering the 4th. And you hit on it, Mitch. We were just talking during that quarter break. Hofstra, before that Tolmy goal, scoreless for more than 17 minutes. They haven't been able to find things out. Tierney's been shut down.
Where you see that stat, they're winning these faceoffs, but you know what? They're not getting the ball out of these faceoffs. So that 18 of 19 is extremely misleading, because I would say in probably about 10 of those opportunities that they've won, the ball ends up with Delaware at the end of those scraps. So they need to do a better job of seeking that ball after they win it. So great job in controlling that X. Now they got to get it to their offensive players. We talked about who can break their man down, right? Giannis, he's done a nice job. Jimmy Giannis has broken down his man from X. Get him the ball at X. Joe Ilardi, he was doing a really nice job of getting to the middle early in the game. I haven't seen him dodge for himself without a pick, and so it's been a little bit of a head scratcher in terms of being able to get the ball to the right guys, and then they're obviously locking off Tierney, which is throwing another wrinkle. So look for Coach Tierney to get the ball to those guys late, hopefully get Ryan Tierney to get himself open so he can make some plays, and that's going to be the only way they get back in this. Luckily, they keep winning faceoffs. And
Hofstra right now is down a man. Delaware man-up unit is back out there for a 5th time today. 2 for 4 in this one so far in the extra man opportunities. Isley has yet to score, drops it off to Kitchen. Jackson Finnegan in front, playing in front of the cage, 2 in the white. Kitchen wrapping around with patience. He's tripped up from behind. Philbin got a piece of him. And with that, Delaware keeps the ball.
And that's a tough break for Hofstra. I thought they did a nice job there of forcing guys to make the tough passes and then pushing people out of the way, and sometimes the refs don't like it when you push them out of the way.
And with that, the shot clock resets to 80 seconds. Kitchen whipping a pass up top, broken up.
Nice job by Altman getting his stick in that lane, making that a tough pass.
And it wasn't intended. His back was to the ball, but his stick in the right spot. Another break up by Altman. DeSimone is there for the ground ball. Some extra pressure as now Hofstra has full strength. Griffin Barnathan, the shorty in there, but Delaware scrapes away another ground ball.
Delaware just looks like they are getting that first step towards the ball every time. And the couple times where Hofstra has had those moments where the ball's popped out, it seems like Blue Hens, there's just one more guy, or they're taking one forward step when Hofstra's still standing flat-footed. So that's been the difference on a lot of these 50-50 ground balls.
Kitchen with the ball. He is totally deceiving this Hofstra D, and he blazes one by Bobby Casey. Charlie Kitchen, another 7-point day, 4 goals, 3 assists for one of the conference's best.
A nice play. I mean, that's good defense. You got to bump him a little bit more off his line, but Altman, who had just knocked down about 3 passes, he's been moving in and out. He's tired. He has to guard their best offensive player right now. That's a tough matchup for him. You got to send a slide there, and this is what I like to call the rubber band effect. You pull one side and then the other side snaps back. This is what happens when they start hitting those inside feeds. You send the slide early, people get panicky, stop sliding, and then they're able to win that one-on-one matchup. So right now, it's all Delaware Blue Hens, and they finally win a face-off here, which only adds insult to injury.
White move first. White move first. He called it the wrong way.
Delaware ball up by 6, largest lead of the day. 2 minutes and change into the 4th.
Inside.
Charlie Kitchen, 3 goals, 4 assists last game against Drexel. 4 goals, 3 assists today against Hofstra.
Yeah,
Dynamite performance.
Coach Tierney knew that was who he was going to have to contend with. He's a playmaker, and Charlie Kitchen's been doing it. He's been doing it individually, and he's been finding open men on the feed.
In front to Isley, broken up once more. In front. Oh, man. Almost an under-the-leg shot by Kurtz, showing his Canadian stick skills.
That was a wild rebound. Just the scoop alone was impressive, and then to try to go between the legs. You see he does a nice job of using his body. He tracks that down with a little backhand scoop and then goes behind the legs. Great save by Bobby Casey. Keeping himself off Sports Center there.
Yeah, for a not top 10.
Exactly.
Finnegan whips a pass in, kick out, Kavinsky. The freshman from Virginia with his 5th of the season. It is all Delaware in the second half. And once again, it is number 6 in the white who gets it all started at X.
And that's really been the difference, that once Delaware has settled in. They've been doing a great job of finding those open looks. I talked about dodging with their head up. When you give Charlie Kitchen not only time to dodge with his head up, but time to just sit there and what we call shop. He's looking around, finding the best look. Those are going to be easy passes all day, and if you aren't able to get someone out to Kyle Kaminsky's hands, he's going to make you pay.
Oh, he's back there shopping all right for pots and pans to add to his collection. I mean, the kitchen puns are just so fun. He's got a really cool last name, and he's really good at lacrosse.
A lot of apples in that kitchen.
Never enough kitchen puns with Charlie Kitchen. Another assist, so 8 points today for Kitchen. 4 goals, 4 assists. And actually, I beg your pardon, he's up to 5 assists, so 9 points on the day for Charlie Kitchen.
And the nice part about it is he has complementary scorers around him, and that's what is allowing them to have so much success. He's not just feeding one guy over and over and over. He's feeding different receivers. DeSimone scored a couple on the man up. We just see Kaminsky there, so it's nice that he has a lot of options to throw the ball to.
McIntosh with the shot. We haven't called his name much today. DeLuca slid over. Another save for Matt DeLuca. Delaware looking to clear with under 11 minutes to go in regulation.
And Hofstra has had a few times where they're getting bailed out here by plays that Delaware's making, but they need to be able to capitalize at the end of those.
15 saves for DeLuca. Here's Kennard spinning around Haynes. He broke it up. Bruner was there as well.
I talked earlier about the trail check. You saw that right there. Haynes putting himself in a good position. He gets beat by a half a step, and he gets a nice trail check in.
Tough shot. That was DeLuca's stick that nicked the post. It was not the ball. Here comes Delaware the other way, left to right. It's Strasner, the defender, who hails from Charlotte, North Carolina. We talked about the North Carolina presence on the Hofstra side. We mentioned a couple of names. Don't want to leave out the freshman Sterling Ardrey. He hails from Charlotte, so 3 players for Hofstra from North Carolina. Ardrey spent his prep lacrosse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, U.S. Lacrosse All-American during his time there.
And Brennan, Hofstra's defense looks extremely disjointed right there. Isley just picked up a ball and kind of shoveled it at the goal, and no one was even around him. He probably had time to turn around. It seemed like all the Hofstra defensemen were waiting for someone else to play him. So they need to figure out a way to get on the same page, and not just for this game, but for the rest of the CAA schedule that's ahead of them. They're going to have to do some soul searching in terms of who's taking over, who's directing traffic, and how are we going to get here on the same page.
Largest lead of the game for the Blue Hens, up by 7, 12-5 with 9:25 left. And that's when you really start to wonder where Seth Tierney's mind is at. The 13th year head coach, the longest tenured head coach in the conference. Tolmie throws it away. He sensed that his team has found an identity, and he was okay with the identity being found 11 games into the year. But now you have a speed bump like this. Still plenty of season left with 2 conference games to go. But certainly a head-scratching performance where you have to sort of go back to the drawing board and figure things out. Hofstra is home to Drexel next Saturday.
Well, and look, he told us. They graduated 18 guys. Their face-off guy transferred. Their defensive coordinator went to UNC. This is like a whole turnover of pretty much everybody, right? He's himself, his son, a couple other guys are really the only, Jimmy Giannis, a couple pieces are left. Everyone else is brand new. So when we say they got to find that way to get on the same page, like that's what happens when you have a young team. You're going to need to make sure that you communicate, that you start getting that confidence to have that communication. So that takes time, and I think he understands it's a process. He says we're still finding our way. We got to be nimble. And so these kind of losses, while they may be a little bit humbling, I think they show you a lot about what it's going to take to get back to that level of having that older team with such a dynamic of leadership.
And you said it, 18 guys graduate this year. For the most part, Coach Tierney's worked in 8 freshmen and 9 sophomores seeing legitimate playing time. And he even told us early in the conference here when Hofstra was losing some games, Providence, Rutgers on the road, at Towson a couple of weeks ago, it's been emphasized to really get to know each other off the field. McIntosh trying to rebound it, but Owen Grant, the freshman, circles around his goalie and helps Delaware clear the ball once again.
Another save by Matt DeLuca. He's just been automatic. I will say that was the first time, Ryan Kennard was able to just go full speed north-south, beat his man, and got a great look on Cage. And Matt DeLuca, just impenetrable right now, but that's what I want to see from these Hofstra players, is get that space and speed and just drive north-south and get that hard dodge to the goal. That's how they're going to get the opportunities.
Hofstra ball, outside shot. There's Tierney from that right wing. The first one was awfully impressive. The second one, maybe just as fancy. On the run, Tierney's got 2.
Yeah, and he loves that little right to left split and kind of that fadeaway, almost like a basketball fadeaway where he's almost backpedaling and just throws that right in that opposite corner. Does a nice job, drops back off his back foot and puts it in the only place that Matt DeLuca can't get it.
Who's the best at doing that, you think, right now?
Deemer Class is a guy who comes to mind as a professional player. And you look at the college game, there's just been so many great players that have adapted that move where you make that initial move, you kind of get 1 to 2 drop steps, and then you put your back foot into it. So I'm gonna go old school with Deemer. Keep it with Deemer Class. Keep it in the professional ranks here.
Mitch Belisle, longtime indoor player with the Georgia Swarm, winning a championship 2 years ago, retired from the Boston Cannons last summer. I'm sorry, I know that word retire might still be fresh in the mind of yours.
It's finally feeling good. It finally feels like it fits.
Matt Elder, the freshman, kicks it out. Hofstra stops this run by Delaware, now down 12-6. Forte, the red shirt, sophomore. His lane being shut down. Delaware's Owen Grant. He's been fun to watch. This is Grant's 5th game played this year. Freshman from Newmarket, Ontario. The rebound by McIntosh. There he is, Dylan McIntosh, who missed some time due to injury at the start of the year. Now has 7 goals in 6 games. Make it 2 straight for the Pride. They're not done yet. It's 12-7.
Yeah, that was a great individual effort. Nice job handling that pass inside there by Matt Elder. And then for the 3rd time, Hofstra just gets a nice drop pass directly into a shooter's stick. And you got to capitalize on those, and they have every time. So if they could just have the ball fall into an open guy's stick every time, this would be a close game right now.
There have been a couple of those today. To your point, Brian Tolmie on a rebound to end the first half. We saw one by Riley Forte in the first quarter. 6:10 to go. Possessions are imminent, and that has not been a problem when you look at the face-off stats in this one. 19 wins for Hofstra, but Delaware wins its 3rd, only its 3rd face-off of the day. In this case, it's Shaw and the combination of some others in there. Auersler also involved on the wing.
You see a lot of red tape out on those sticks at Delaware defensemen. A couple face-off by committee. It looks like they've got a couple options to go to, which is good. It's good as they get worn down at the end of a game. You want to have some different looks that you feel good about putting in there, even to make it a 50-50 ground ball, which is where they've had success at the face-off X in this game, despite the way the numbers look.
Delaware trying to tack on another. DeSimone has a hat trick, plus an assist. Charlie Kitchen, the star, once again on offense with 9 points. So with those tallies, he's now up to 55 points on the season. Came into the day 2nd in the conference in points. He's making a case to be the MVP of the league this year. Isley double teamed, broken up by Altman. He's had a nice game, the junior. Nicked again. Kitchen is banged up. Altman is beside himself.
Kitchen took a hard check to the wrist. You know, Coach Luke and Coach Mikowski are saying, come on, be all right, be okay. Looks like he's going to shake that one off. He's moving his hand around, but he's certainly a guy that you just mentioned MVP talk, CAA MVP talk. You do not want to see him go down. You don't want to see him get hurt. So, 12-7, this isn't the kind of game where you can pull him out, but you might want to limit his touches here to make sure that you keep him healthy, especially as he takes a hard whack off the wrist there.
The co-player, preseason players of the year, Isaac Paparo of UMass, who is, when you have a long pole making your preseason player of the year talk, it's a special one. And then, of course, Zach Goodrich, the short stick in his senior year with Towson. Important players, and that matchup was earlier today. If you missed it, UMass on the road was up 10-2 at halftime and beat Towson 14-10. Jackson Finnegan off balance. Casey a save. So Casey's starting to find it. 2 goals in a row for Hofstra. Altman the other way, nearly broken up, and now he throws it away. And the crowd reacts.
Love hearing that. 2 defensive players as the preseason player of the year in the CAA, a short stick D-Midi and then an LSM. Granted, it's probably because they score some goals, but that's okay. We'll take it.
Hey, you did some scoring yourself.
Not much. Not much. I remember each of them, both of them.
17-15 left.
Well, offensively, we have 2 weapons on display in Kitchen and Tierney. Ty Kurtz has turned into a weapon. I'll tell you, and now we under 4 to go. Really, it's clock management at this point for Delaware. On the skip, they add another. Ty Kurtz with number 4 of the afternoon. 30 goal season for the freshman from Ontario. And Isley, the beautiful skip.
And that nice low to high, you could see Michael Altman, who's been doing such a great job of getting in that lane. He's actually pushed up towards the midfield, trying to take away the top center shot, which has been the Achilles heel of those skips, has been coming from the bottom up. He's not in a position to cut off the one from side to side. That ball gets through, and that's just a nice job of changing planes. We talked to any kids you're coaching about changing planes. Ty Kurtz drops ahead of his stick as he shoots and then finishes upstairs, bringing that ball low to high.
Herber rips away the ball to win the faceoff. Now Altman is set to help clear it. Kurtz broke it up. Well, here's the question I've been begging to ask you, and you had to wait for the game to sort of unravel, and Delaware has taken control in position to go to 10-2, just 2 losses against number 10 Villanova on the road and at Johns Hopkins. When you start looking at this team, offensively the last 4 games, they've really started to put it together. Matt DeLuca's been consistent since day 1. Do you still start with DeLuca as far as identifying the identity of this team?
I mean, he's played unbelievably well. He's had a ton of support from his defense. I've been very impressed. I know Coach DeLuca in our talk earlier this week talked about the defense being consistent and being disciplined. Now, they just took a penalty here, but for the most part, they've really supported each other well and done a nice job of giving Matt DeLuca the shots he wants to see, but it's hard not to say that Charlie Kitchen isn't the linchpin for this Blue Hens team right now, because everything he does in the offensive end makes them better, whether it's feeding, dodging, or making that one more look before that assist happens. So, it's when you start having those consistent pieces on both ends of the field, that's when you start to see success late in May and moving into the championship weekend.
9-point afternoon for Charlie Kitchen, 4 goals, 5 assists. Also has a ground ball scooped up in this one. Joe Isley off the ball, just 1 assist. He has 8 ground balls in this game. Isley coming in 4th on the team in ground balls with 28 as an attackman.
Maybe throw Isley up at the face-off X, get a ground ball in there. That's the one area that when you look at this Blue Hens, is this a playoff caliber team for the NCAA playoffs? Offensively, yes. Defensively, yes. Face-offs, they're going to have to figure out a way to get some more face-off wins. And they've done a nice job in this game of scrapping after losing the initial clamp. But you need to be a little bit more consistent against these teams that have 50, 60, 70% face-off men.
And talking with Ben DeLuca throughout the year in a couple of games here on Lac Sports Network, there is still a ray of hope if senior captain Jake Hervada can return from a broken hand injury and help out at the dot. It's been Joe Lenskold's job, the sophomore, who did not play much last season. So it's been Lenskold. They've used Ryan Shaw, a junior midfielder, to take face-offs as we get a whistle.
And Coach DeLuca has been key to say that Jake Hrvata, despite not being on the field, he has been an incredible leader through injury for the team. So that's something that's great to hear when your guys are getting hurt and you still feel like they're contributing off the field. That's a big piece of building that culture. You talked about a couple times, Coach DeLuca, bringing that hard hat mentality, and if your guys that are even injured are doing that, that's a good thing.
1 minute penalty against the pride of Hofstra. So more clock to be drained here by Delaware. 80 seconds on the shot clock, 2:16 on the game clock. Delaware is going to sit atop the CAA standings after today at 3-0. Hofstra will fall to 1-2. And then tied for second place, Towson and UMass, thanks to the UMass win on the road at Johnny Unitas Stadium, 14-10 earlier this afternoon. And as Mitch brought up a moment ago, Charlie Kitchen, a star in this one, 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists, and Matt DeLuca for the 12th straight game, double-digit saves, 17 today. He's at .464 for the season through 12 games. His saves per game number coming in was 9th best in the country at 13.73. Second in the country in save percentage and 5th in the country in goals against. So he's been the mainstay, the bread and butter from day one. Now the offense is clicking.
Brendan, we talked about Ty Kurtz hitting that 10 mark. Charlie Kitchen, 1 point away
from tying his teammate.
Tying the teammate. 2 points away from getting the record, CAA record. So I think they're probably content to hold the ball and kill the clock. But if he ends up with the ball at the end of it and shot clock winding down, don't be afraid to take that shot.
He was nicked up a few minutes ago, so he's fine right now out there guarded by Philbin, the senior long stick. 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter. Kitchen decides to throw it away.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that is willing to throw that in the corner as opposed to trying to set that record, trying to set any kind of personal scoring. Coach DeLuca really preaching the team before self mentality. Both of these coaches, ton of respect between these coaches for each other. Winning a gold medal together. Coach DeLuca is the GM of Team USA and Coach Tierney is an assistant. Both talked about how special that experience was. We're going to talk about it after the game, I'm sure, not before or during. Another save by Matt DeLuca.
Both on the sideline in Netanya, Israel for the FIL World Championships. DeLuca is going to help his team clear the ball, 23 seconds. A lot of questions despite a 9-2 record for Delaware. Was this team for real? And now the Blue Hens are set to improve to 3-0 in the conference and 10-2 overall. The last time Delaware won the CAA title was 2011. 3-0 with a 13-7 win over Hofstra. The Delaware Blue Hens at 10-2 overall and 3-0 in the CAA sit atop the CAA standings with a commanding win. 4 weeks away from home, and they return to Delaware Stadium, making some noise with the win over the Pride.